How's it going, Slayers? It's your boy Levar, and I'm just doing this little video here. It's my first video post for the Slay Married site, and I'm excited about it, obviously. But it's coming at a time where I want to say my focus isn't where I really want it to be because of some things that are kind of going on in our life right now, and it's nothing. I mean, that the average person hasn't really gone through. It's just kind of, all jumbled up into one, massive time frame of issues, right? So I've been doing a little bit of self-reflection, as far as my personality, my work situation. I work from home, but I'm just switching jobs and things like that. And so, I'm in that season as well. But we have some things going on, at our home that aren't going the way we want them to, and then some things in some other areas, right? They're all kind of compiling, and it's causing a lot of stress and anxiety. And I personally am a sufferer of anxiety, severe anxiety. Unfortunately, I have for a long time. And the tag that we were talking about last week, as far as getting to know yourself and understanding, I don't want to say your faults, but just things, areas in your life that you maybe could work on or enhance. Not to say that you're even doing bad in certain areas, but some areas could always be better. Communication, things like that. Just personal responsibilities, your level of discipline, all that good stuff. But my self-evaluation, I realized in this season I'm in right now that I had an anxiety attack last week, and I haven't had one. If I have had one, it's been years, but I know that I have. It's been a while, but it wasn't like super severe, but I just got super frustrated with some things that have been going on in our home that haven't cleared up, and I've been putting my best effort into it, and to no avail, not getting the results that we want, even as a family. Let's just put it that way. So me personally, I tend to take that really, really hard, on myself. Like I feel like I'm failing as the man of the house. That even back to those traditional values like we talked about, that I really kind of trying to strip out of my mind, because it does put extra pressure on you in areas where you don't need necessarily that extra pressure. Like if you're doing the best you can, you're doing the best you can, right? And it's not fair to yourself to beat yourself up for doing the best you can, even though you may not necessarily get the results you want, because none of us can control, the outcomes of what we do, only the actions that we take, right? So I was doing self-reflection on myself and, realized my anxiety has just been out of control totally. So I expressed it to my wife, and, she's been also working on the same thing, and as far as her personality and her emotional status and all that, just kind of doing self-reflection at the same time, and she recognizes the state that we're in, because she's just as frustrated as I am. And the great thing is that we were able to communicate to one another each other's frustrations without, number one, going to a place of blame, or feeling like, well, yeah, you really need to do better with this or better with that, or no, we tried to bring it together into like a conversation of more of like, where can I support you in your issues or whatever troubles that you're having, or hell, do we need to just take a pause and relocate for a slight moment. Like my wife starts throwing out all these ideas, and I love that. That's positive participation is what I like to call it, right? It's positive participation, because you can have a conversation with your partner or mate, and the conversation can go positively or it can go negatively, right? And a lot of times, we tend to assume, or at least have the expectation or want, that the conversation will go in a positive way, but you never know how the other person may be feeling about the topic that you're bringing up, right? For instance, if it's money, or in our situation, some stuff that we don't personally have control over, which kind of helps. But when it's something that you yourself is responsible for in the relationship, for taking care of, sometimes those conversations can turn negative if they feel like you're not really doing the best that you could be, but you do. So, weird situation. The good thing for us, these issues aren't really issues that we personally can control. So, it allowed us to maintain, positive conversation, and to bring up some really interesting resolutions or ways to kind of get around what we're dealing with right now. So I just wanted to kind of put together a little thought on that and just express, you know, times when you're feeling overwhelmed. You know, I'll have to say it, especially coming from like men, especially very traditional, like heterosexual men. Not sure where it comes from, not playing the blame game, but we're raised, unfortunately, by other heterosexual men that, if, you know, to express those kind of feelings makes you a punk. You know, and a lot of people hear that and it's like, oh, whatever. But no, we're really trained to like think that way, you know, through sports, through other activities that, I don't know, I don't really understand exactly why, but I guess the mentality is you're supposed to be tough. You're not supposed to show weakness. But to me, it's, if I'm having a problem that's causing me to not be able to perform, that's a weakness and it needs to be taken care of. You shouldn't want to hide weakness, you know what I'm saying, being a man, because a man, if you consider yourself a man, that means, you know, generally you're handling your business, right? You're being an adult and being responsible for the things in your life that you need to take care of. Well, if you're hiding your weaknesses, then you're not doing that. So I'm trying to really retrain my mind to get out of that thought of, you know, expressing yourself is a sign of weak, or expressing your weaknesses is not a good thing in being a man, when it's really probably the best thing you could do, because in order to be a complete whole man, you need to fix those areas that you suck at. So anyway, I'm kind of going off a little bit on a tangent here. But I wanted to just put that out there that, you know, even myself, you know, going through those types of issues and working through, you know, social stigmas and things like that you were either raised on or just picked up along the way, whatever. Sometimes that can be an issue as well. For me at this point, it's not, because my wife is the person that's there no matter what goes down, she's there. If we ever get to the point where we're not, I'm not even trying to entertain that. So I feel that I can express to her pretty much anything. Really, I should be able to, right? Things that I would normally be embarrassed about. I mean, you think about it. If you ever, say you're married or you're with someone who you say you love and they love you, you get into an accident, you end up, you know, like quadriplegic or something like that, right? Now that's drastic, but you can't take care of yourself. Who's gonna take care of you? You're in a compromising position where all bets are out the door. Like, you know, if you're embarrassed just to express your feelings, just imagine a situation like that. You know, somebody is taking care of your every need all day long, you know, how embarrassed should you be then? So I kind of think extreme like that to myself and go, yeah, you know what, I need to really be a little bit more open in my relationship, even for things that may seem, you know, small. You know, I expressed to her I was having an anxiety attack and went to sleep. Like, my anxiety was so high, I couldn't think straight, I couldn't focus on anything. I couldn't even like play a video game and enjoy it. And I'm a huge gamer, so I knew it was really getting to me. So anyway, but she responded in the best way possible, man. She pulled stuff out, like suggestions that I'm not gonna say I wouldn't consider, but you know, a little far-fetched, but it let me know where her mind was at. It let me know that she understood where I was coming from. I didn't need to try to sell it to her. I didn't need to try to convince her of anything. She understood, she reacted, whatever it was that I needed, she was cool with. If I needed to take off work, matter of fact, she took off work just to take off with me to support me. You know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of thing that helps you get through those times, you know, as far as supporting each other. And a lot of times I think that individually we go through problems and we expect, you know, that kind of support from our mates, spouses, friends, whoever you're in a relationship with. But when we don't get that response, a lot of times, I hate to say it, sometimes it's our fault, but when we don't express ourselves enough to where they fully understand what you're really going through, sometimes you won't get that level of response in return, because they're assuming that you're okay. And I've actually had that happen with a similar friend, a male friend actually, and you know, it just kind of felt weird, because the situation was as if like we weren't communicating, you know, with one another, and at some really vulnerable times when we kind of need to talk a little bit deeper, but because we didn't really express ourselves fully like we should have, you know, being men having conversation, neither one of us really knew that both of us was going through something and we both actually needed to go to another level and really talk, and we didn't, and it kind of caused a little separation in the relationship for no reason, you know, really for no reason. But it hurt in a way. It hurt to the point where I was like, man, I could have really avoided that by just, you know, being a little bit more open and not holding on to this, you know, male ego crap, and, you know, always having that cool, what's up, man, what up, dog, all that, you know what I'm saying, like, yeah, everything's good and all that, and then you're like, in your mind, you're like, no, really, it ain't. Really, I need to be talking to my homeboy, and maybe not even necessarily getting advice, but just expressing some stuff, getting some stuff off my chest, or whatever the case, or even if it's between him, like, hey, how you been, you know, we haven't talked, you know, that kind of thing. And sometimes even as men, we don't really do that with each other. I feel like, and I hate to separate genders, you know, because relationships are all, they cross, right? But I kind of feel in general that women are typically more, or people who are more on the, I'm not gonna say feminine side, because I'm trying to look for the right term here, but who aren't as macho, you know what I mean? They don't have all those insecurities. Okay, that's the way I'm gonna explain it. I'm not gonna label anything. I'm trying to get away from labels. But people who have that bravado, you know what I mean? Like, kind of like what I call your typical heterosexual athlete male. Okay, y'all know what I'm talking about when I say that. You know what I mean? They put on this front like they're always good, they never have a problem, you know what I mean? And it's just, nobody in the world's like that. So I'm sorry, nobody in the world is like that. We've got leaders, people who got money that we can never spend in a lifetime, and everybody got problems. They got problems too. So don't sit up here and make it seem like you know, like you that good, right? And then not wanting to express yourself, you know, being able to tell when someone's going through stuff, right? And then you ask them and they're like, yeah, I'm good, and you know they're lying. It just drives you up the wall. And so that's what I'm trying to get away from, as a man, because I know we are stamped with that, and I know a lot of men who are like that, unfortunately. So I'm trying to really get away from that. So just putting that out there to keep this video as short as I can. I'm getting ready to run into Walgreens. But again, just putting out some videos here, little tidbits. Comment, please. Let me know what you think about this topic. Like I said, this is something personally that I'm going through right now that I'm trying to deal with. You know, like I said, working on a job, dealing with things at home. It's just everyday life stuff. It's nothing even super drastic. It's just stuff that's gone on too long, that kind of thing. But it just wears you out over time, you know. I went to the office today for the first time in a while and worked and got to be around other people, which was amazing. And just hearing other people's conversation, you know, about their personal life and stuff like that, you know, really kind of encouraged me in a way, because it showed me like, you ain't the only one going through stuff, man. Remember that. You dig? And it's not that it makes my situation better or fixes my situation. It just reminds me that that's life. And, you know, if the person next to me can be talking about, you know, their you know, sick relative that's in the hospital that they're getting ready to go see right now, right after work, you know what I mean, in rain and bad weather and all this stuff, I'm thinking to myself like, oh my God, my problems are nowhere near that, you know what I'm saying, that level. So I really need to, you know, to get a hold of that and restrain that anxiety from taking over, right? So again, let me know your thoughts on this. I'm going to be putting out some videos here and there on this topic, and just kind of giving more of a male perspective on what we're going through in relationships, and hopefully we get some responses for some other guys out there, and you guys can start, you know, letting us know what you think. I don't know what I'm doing. All I know is what I've done, what worked, what didn't work. So again, like, share, talk about it, comment, and we'll be back. See you later, Slayers.